Okay, here's what we're doing on this assignment here. On the first part, I want you to just tell me the technique used to solve it. It's either factoring, like terms, or Q. Okay? Don't worry about factoring, like terms, or Q. This problem, if I have x to the second and regular x, that's more than one kind of x, I would use factoring to solve that. I would use the GCFT. Here all I have is x squared. That's like terms. I would box that up, move the 3, divide by 4, and square root. Don't solve it though. Here I have x in a parentheses to the second. That would call for me to use Q. Next problem. X squared and regular x, that's a factoring problem. I would need to move these to this side before I factor though. When factoring, you got to have everything equal to 0. Okay, next one, that's the only kind of x I have. Second power's it. That's going to be a like terms. And then right here, that's going to be a Q. Now, pause the video and go do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, now, for the last 3 problems we need to solve. I need to know the technique I'm using, so forth. Okay, so this one here, all these problems have 2 answers. Now I need to decide what I'm doing. This is the only x I have, so that is a like terms problem. So to solve it, I box him up. I add 6 to both sides. So I have 3x squared equals 45. Then that coefficient of 3 I divide. X to the second is 15. Then I square root both sides. X equals could be plus, negative. Anytime you got that square root, we want to do plus, negative. Okay? Then go to your perfect square sheet. 15 is not on the list, but it won't divide by 9 and it won't divide by 4. So it's prime, so I just keep it the square root of 15. So I have the square root of 15 and the square root of 15 negative. This one right here, 2 answers. Since I have x squared and x, that's a factoring problem. So here's what I do on factoring problems. I need to make sure that everything is on one side, equal to 0. The 0's got to be there. It is. Now I need to decide how I'm going to factor this. There's 3 terms, okay? So 3 terms. So with 3 terms, we use the GCF and then the T chart. So the GCF, space parentheses, and then the T chart. I put A equals 1 question mark. So let's figure out a GCF. If we have it, okay? So I do not have a negative, I don't have x on all 3 of them, so let's check out 3, my smallest number, and list the factors, 1 and 3. Now I know 1 we don't go with, so let's see if we can divide those. Well, 3 divided by 3 is 1, 18 divided by 3 is 6, 81 divided by 3 is 27, so I do have a GCF here, and it's 3. Now go divide by 3, and that is x to the second. If it's 1, just put x, put it there I guess. Minus 6x minus 27. Now I go ABC. I find the product of A and C. That's going to be negative 27. So because that's negative, we're looking for a difference of the B absolute value, in this instance 6. So 127, no. 2 is a decimal. 3 and 9, there you go. Is A equal to 1 up here? Remember, you're looking up here, not here anymore, right here. Yes, it is. So I just need 2 parentheses. When I make 2, I know it's x times x. 3 and 9. I have minus 6, so I need more minus, and with a difference, the signs are the opposite. Now that 3 you just drop down, but it doesn't have an x, so I get rid of it. So the factor x plus 3 could equal 0, or x minus 9 could equal 0. Minus 3, I get negative 3. There's my first answer. Plus 9, I get 9. There's your second. Okay, the next problem. This is going to be a Q. There's 2 answers to all these problems, so we're going to use Q. So Q, you got 3Q to the second minus 7 equals 101. So I used like terms, I add 7. So 3Q to the second equals 108. Now I divide by 3. Q to the second equals 36. Now I cancel that with a square root. Plus minus, anytime you square it, 36 is a perfect square, so that's 6. Okay, so I can be equal to 6 or negative 6. So x plus 3 is the expression I put Q in for. Now I bring it back and solve. So x equals 3. And x equals negative 9. Next problem. I've got x squared and I've got regular x. It'd be a 1x. So I need to factor. Put an F for factoring. Well, if you're going to factor, everything's got to be on one side. So I need to minus 2. And I'd minus that from negative 3, and then I minus 1x. That doesn't really have anything to go with, so I put it right here. Now I need to write this in proper order. 4x squared comes first, minus 1x comes next, and then negative 3 minus 2 is negative 5. Okay? Now I can make my boxes. There are, again, 3 terms. So it's GCF and T-chart, okay? So here's my GCF box, if I can find one. Here's the T box, and A equals 1, question mark. Okay, so GCF, do I have a negative in front? No. Do I have X on everything? No. 1 is my smallest number, so there will not be a GCF. So we will not pull anything out. Now I find the product of my A and C. 4 times negative 5 is negative 20. So because that's negative, I'm searching for a difference that would equal 1. The absolute value of the B, which is 1. So 1 and 20, nope. 2 and 10, nope. 3 is a decimal, 4 and 5, boom. Okay. Is A equal to 1? No, it's not. So what I'm going to do is make 4 parentheses and then equals 0 there at the end. Okay? So I go x, and if the A was 4, we're going to put 4 in front of both of them. I'm going to divide down, but for now it's 4. Then I put 4 and 5. Now the 4 and 5 have to make negative 1, so I need minus on the bigger number, and difference means that'll be plus. Now I'm pretty sure we can divide 4 and 4 by 4, so that's x plus 1. And that won't divide down, so x plus 1 times 4x minus 5. Was there a GCF? Nope. Okay. So x plus 1 equals 0, 4x minus 5 equals 0. X equals negative 1. Okay. Plus 5, 4 times x equals 5. 5 divided by 4 is 1.25. I'll accept that. I will also accept 5 fourths. Okay, now on your last 3 problems, you're solving. There's 2 answers for all of them. X squared and x, that's factoring. There's 3 terms, GCFT. That'd be a like terms one. This would be a Q.